Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to the Scaling Deep podcast. I am Lisa Princik, your host. I am a membership coach and business strategist. One of the questions that I get asked all the time is about content and people's fear of members coming in, taking the content and running. Okay. So I wanted to address that today so that if you're holding back on doing a membership, you can understand how to sort of work around that from a couple different perspectives. One is kind of a mental perspective, getting your head around the purpose of your membership and what it's all about. And then the second is just also how you can build in some safeguards around that. Okay. So we're going to keep this one short today and dive in. And I first just want to say that I have a brand new membership method workshop coming up on February the 15th, where I'm going to cover all of this kind of stuff, including how to sell your membership so that you can maximize enrollment. And that is going to be available for anyone to sign up. It's for $47. It's 2 hours long. And there's also going to be a half an hour in that of Q&A on a Zoom meeting chat, like not chat, but Zoom meeting questions so that you can like actually talk and we can go back and forth. And it's always really good. People always love them. They're really interactive. And you can find that at scalingdeep.com/method. So I hope you can join me in that one. It's going to be awesome. But let's get back to this idea of content because memberships are a little bit interesting. They come traditionally from either the association type of world where people pay to access like regular events and regular benefits or things like that, or just be part of something because it gives them credibility and connections and all that. And it's worth the monthly investment or annual investment. And then we also can look at where they come from, the subscription world, the whole idea of subscribing for a service, which has totally changed the way businesses are run. And so you combine those two things together and you have this potential in this online business world where we're delivering information, we're delivering support and services in this month to month kind of flow. And that is new-ish, right? Well, it's fairly new, actually, relatively in the scheme of things. So we're still getting our heads around, like, how do we really set that up? And how much can we deviate from these models of like subscribing, either getting unlimited access to something or limited access and pay to play kind of idea that every month you're paying into access certain types of things and they're fairly predictable. And that actually is probably the thing that binds this all together. The common thread is that it's fairly predictable delivery. So you're usually not joining a membership or hosting a membership that takes people along a linear path where no one can just show up and join in the middle of it and get the same value out of it. They'd get behind or something. So usually, like, no matter how you're selling it, no matter what the length of commitment is, you're likely following a month to month flow in terms of what people get. Okay, so that aside, are people going to come in and take your content and run? I had somebody ask me this recently. She's like, should I have everything available up front? And what will happen if I do? And I just said, well, look, I wouldn't worry about it because we know this probably by now. Knowledge is cheap. Anyone can pay for anything to learn anything, get a few tips, and then, you know, go. And that is true of anything. And that's why we have courses that people can pay for to learn something simple that's like laid out for them and they're really useful. They save a lot of time and energy from people having to Google search and scrap together a plan because obviously when you're doing that, there's choices and you have to still look at everything and go, well, should I do it this way or that way? And actually having someone say like, no, follow this way. This is simpler, easier, all that. That's super helpful, right? So that's what courses do for us, right? They provide a very clear path from A to B, and that's why people buy them. And it saves time and energy. Well, your membership can do that too. But don't forget, a membership really helps people with a transformation. It is a higher level offer, believe it or not, unless you just have a subscription, which is a smaller, bite-sized access to something. You likely have a membership which is attached to a higher level of transformation. And that's why sometimes people hesitate to buy into them, because they know they're not just there for a month or two. They know they're buying into something that's going to take time. And despite the fact that you might only be charging $27 or $47 or $97 or, even a lower amount like that, people still aren't expecting to come in and leave within a month. They're most likely not going to do that, because you're most likely setting your membership up for them to achieve something bigger than just knowledge on a how to. You're most likely promising a bigger transformation. And that is the mental part of getting your head around how to deliver content, is understanding that you're likely not providing a membership that is just an essential, like, step-by-step process to learn something. Okay. Yes, you can have that in there. And yes, that could be a foundation that is critical to their success, but likely there's an ongoing implementation component for them in order to receive the transformation that they ultimately want. And that's going to require doing the things, taking what they've learned from you and applying it, and also showing up for the support calls, or if you have them, or showing up in the community and asking questions if that's there, and getting that reassurance or that validation, or helping them figure out the questions they have around it, because nothing is ever just easy peasy, right? It takes trial and error. It takes figuring stuff out. So that's what you're doing inside your membership. And that's what you have to really stand by your value in terms of what you're charging, because you want to attract people who are there for a longer transformation. And you want to make sure that you are standing for that and promising that they will get that if they continue to show up and do the work, right? So if you can really start to absorb that and understand that and believe in that, you will feel less worried about somebody coming in, grabbing a few things and leaving, because they're just not going to get results. And if they're really not committed to getting results, or providing you with a great testimonial or case study because they're not that committed to getting support from you, they just wanted to learn a few things, then they might as well go, right? Like, it's okay, because they weren't really your ideal person anyway. And getting better at and more focused on attracting the right person is what makes any program successful. It's when people show up, they learn from you, they trust you, they listen to what you're sharing and teaching and leading on, and they actually implement some of it. And the really special, amazing people will actually give you feedback on it and let you know what they learned and how they applied it. And then you've got those great case studies. So that's actually your ideal member. And everything you do in your business should be leading you towards getting that, because that really makes the biggest difference. And it also makes the biggest difference in your confidence. Okay. But all that aside, so now we've set that context. Like, you can still have a membership, you can still have people come in and get how-tos and feel safe in that the really amazing people that are really meant to be there are going to stay, get value, and they're going to add a lot to your business. And of course, over time, they're going to end up paying you, for that transformation, and you're going to get that recurring revenue. But the other thing you can think of too is that how do you need to set up your content inside in order to make sure that they aren't getting too much too quickly, and you're, say, giving away like thousands of dollars within the first, few weeks, and that really is enough for them, and that is something that they shouldn't really be getting access to for the price point of a month to month kind of value. And that is true. There are some cases inside Membership School, well, I should say inside Scaling Deep Society, which kind of hosts Membership School, which is my core foundation course on how to design and launch a membership, and also just improve upon the one you already have. That is a pretty robust course. And that is why I I want people to get it right away because it is so important and valuable that a ton of people can come in and get that. And actually, that is a huge benefit to them because it's answered so many of their questions. And a lot of them are higher level questions and higher level learning. Two reasons why I have that, actually. I'll just set up the context. One is because when they come in, they can immediately get support and they can immediately get their money's worth without having to spend a long time waiting for important pieces of content. So I needed to have that included or sell it that way because it is complex. Developing memberships, there's a lot of decisions to make, and people really need to think through it. And I provide that, and I'm good at providing that. I mean, I ask people really deep questions. I ask questions that give them a lot of food for thought on things they haven't even thought about that make a huge difference to them in how excited they are and how they can see and wrap their head around getting their membership out and making a big impact with that, and also getting really good client results. So that is very important to me. And that's just the work I do. I go deep. I look at the core reasons. I don't like to focus on the fluffy external stuff. So I have that in there. And then it makes my life really easy because when they join, I don't have to scramble to make sure that they get satisfied right away. And that is partly just a benefit. So most of my work goes into getting visible, sharing my, my approach and all that. So people can actually see me as being someone that they want to learn from and jump in. But once they do join, they can get access, and I don't have to do a lot of work right up front. It's fairly easy for me. And that is just an easier style for me to run my business in the way I've set it up. Okay. And the other thing is that that's also how I sell it. And I sell it as a larger commitment in a beginning. And that may or may not work for you. And you can figure this out as you go. So you can do month to month because you're like, yeah, I know this information is helpful, but they still need like pretty clear guidance on how to use it down the road. Or I know this information is like a good starter course and it's great, but it's not like so robust that it sort of solves all their questions and problems, and they still will want to stay to continue to learn how to implement it. You can make those decisions, right? You can also make those decisions and experiment back and forth and go, month to month or quarterly or annual or lifetime or whatever you want to do that works the best for your content, works the best for how you sell, works the best for your entire system of sharing information with people on an ongoing basis, and also who you want to attract. So I'm not going to get into that right now. That's all inside my workshop, which you can, again, I highly encourage you to join at scalingdeep.com/method. I'm going to share so much more on the sales system so that you can figure that part out. And it's going to very much relate to your content. So I just want to say that you have tons of options. You don't have to worry about the model not working because of the style of content you have. You can really just figure it out as you go. And you can also experiment and change how you do it over time. You may offer it one way, like month to month, no commitment. That may not end up working for what your true value is in your program. So that's where I just want to encourage you to start. Get it out there, start charging for your value, start delivering value, then figure out how to do it in the future. If anything needs to be changed at all, it still can be magical. It can still work out. Some of the most successful programs out there are ones that we don't see how they operate. We don't even hear about them, and they're running behind the scenes and they're providing so much value. That is totally possible. I'm always here rooting for you. If you like this episode, click a like or subscribe or provide a review on iTunes and let me know. And I hope to see you inside the Membership Method workshop. Bye for now.